Hello and welcome back to a new Rage Gaming video. My name is Hello and today I'm back to talk more Genshin Impact, the new open world action RPG everyone's kind of losing their mind over. Extremely popular due to its incredible visuals, the massive roster of characters people have been gushing over, and of course the brilliant elemental based combat system. But as people are playing this game to death right now, they're quickly approaching the part where they've played most of what is available and then kind of finding themselves with less direction in what to do. So what's next for Genshin Impact? Actually, some big things, and it's coming a lot sooner than you might have thought. The upcoming 1.1 update was potentially leaked in almost full, and we're looking at new changes to the game alongside new updates, multiple new characters, an overhaul to the current gacha system, even big group content for 8 players and more. The question is this real? Are these real leaks? If you aren't aware, the dev team behind Genshin Impact is miHoYo, who are a little notorious for leaking their own incoming updates to generate hype, which is partly why people think this might be real. The main source for this information comes from Reddit user Gauntlet 2010, who posted update notes coming to the game, while the website TechRaptor was able to find another screenshot of updates in Chinese. These two sources have mostly the same information and plans. Alongside that, we also have perfectly matching official art and teasers for upcoming characters. My plan for this video is to tell you about every detail we currently know and give my thoughts on whether I think it's real or not, so let's get started. If you had to ask yourself, what is the most important thing to add to Genshin Impact from, say, the business perspective? For me, I'd say the characters. They started the game with 24 of them right off the bat, and people are desperately trying to get their favorites or the ones that fit their team best. This has been a huge success for the devs because they've created such a good system that they're able to create many new, unique characters with new playstyles while using that elemental system. As long as their designs are cool and desirable, people are going to want them, and therefore they're more likely to spend money to try to get them. So with these character updates, I'd say they're very likely. Let's take a look at the 6 new characters that we have information about. Firstly, Zhongli, a new 5-star Geo user who uses pole arms as his weapon type of choice. He already appears in game in the later main quests, was actually in the beta already. It's an obvious choice for a new character, fitting perfectly in the world already, having already been playable in the past and in game as a character right now. So that's extremely likely in this update. But man, just look at his outfit, incredible. Next we have Chilled, again a 5-star character who uses Hydro this time. Chilled is part of the Liu region and was seen all the way back in the second closed beta test. What's weird here though is in this picture he's using a very blue spear, but we've seen him with daggers and even a bow in the past. Maybe that spear is blue because it's actually made of water, and his ability lets him use water to create different weapons to use. That will be incredible. Next we have Xinjiang, a 4-star character, thankfully, rather than another 5-star. She uses Pyro and potentially a new weapon type for the game. She's not been seen in game yet, but actually, offhandedly, she's mentioned in some dialogue. She's a well-known performer in Liyue, where she uses pyrotechnics as part of her performance, which, hey, that's probably where the pyro comes from, and this has got a band for endangering the audience. Maybe she'll use that instrument as part of her abilities and use a current weapon type instead. That's more likely. Next, we have Diana, the very small 4-star cryo user. Not in-game, but also mentioned in dialogue. She's mentioned as a bartender in The Cat's Tale. Who is letting this child serve drinks, though? In the image, we can see some little frozen paw prints, a drink mixer, so these make sense for a character, but also those health symbols, which may mean she's actually a healer type. Now we have a bit of wonderful gameplay of another upcoming character, Kamisato. It said in the patch notes that she'll be obtainable after we reach adventure rank 42, which is quite high, and she'll be likely involved with the next region we'll talk about later, and the Japanese-inspired Inazuma. She was originally on the website under the Mondstadt character list, but removed all the way back in March, clearly to be added to the upcoming new region instead. We have gameplay of her being playable during an early beta or even alpha back in June of 2019 from YouTube user Len Vega. As you can see, she is another user of that unique water movement that Mona uses, but in this case, considering this character's an ice user, it's ice-based instead. This allows you to move quickly through water in Mona's case. I imagine it works similarly here. Kami comes with a very cool set of attack animations with her basic attacks, with a sort of mini unsheath move for her one-handed sword. It looks incredible, it's so slick. Her basic ability allows her to create an area of ice explosion, comparable to, say, Lisa's electric AoE attack, where you channel it, then unleash it in an area around you. Finally though, her ultimate does transform her sword into a fan, which she whips around in a cone attack in front of her, which which unleashes many slashes of probably ice elemental damage. Those slashes last for a while, moving off in 3 different directions. She looks awesome and I really like her. Lastly, this one isn't up for debate, thankfully. The Bowkeeper Dainsleaf? Sorry if I butchered that name. This was tweeted by Genshin Impact's official Twitter account, and we got an early look at this new character who has a very strange and black arm on one side, and also a half mask or eye patch of some kind. Very mysterious, and we don't know much more than that. But at a guess, I would call this guy probably a Hydro user, and you gotta wonder what he can do with that arm of his. I can't say for sure if we'll see this guy in this first update, but it was tweeted out on September 28th, which was quite early after release. And the Japanese account confirmed he's coming to the game in a quote later update, so who knows. So anyway, those are the characters coming to the game. Most of these seem very likely and already fit in the world, which is great, but now let's look at some of the translated patch notes and start with the quality of life updates. We're getting 60 FPS options for those playing on Android phones, better chat functions like online notifications for friends, and of course, DMing, private messaging. I'm surprised the game launched without this stuff. And more importantly, a new daily original resin claim feature. Via Catherine at the Adventurers Guild, you could twice a day restock on resin now, which will be wonderful for free-to-play players. It is very limited right now, and one of the few ways to use multiplayer is to hunt bosses, which is limited by resin caps, so I'd appreciate this change. We're also sure to get some bug fixes in this update, but we have seen some specific word on the main character's Geo skill being fixed. Right now it does interact a bit strangely with big enemies and could do with some improvements for sure. Next though, we have the main quest changes coming to the game. As you probably know, things slow down hard around the adventure rank 25 as questing slows down or entirely stops. Included in this update are some new quests to help you with your adventure rank to 30 and beyond. As we think the character Kamisato will be unlocked at adventure rank 42, I would assume that that would be the new fall off for content. With that, there's new events and rewards with them, including money and gems, but also the new wing glider skin, which makes a lot of sense considering there's a special menu where we can change our wing cosmetics. But we only have a few options right now, so it's no doubt that they'll add more like this. The big one here though is definitely the new region and the city in Azuma. This region is rumored to be roughly the same size as Liyue. As I mentioned, it's also heavily inspired by Japanese culture and landscapes. With this region, there will certainly be more than just that one character coming, and I'm sure there'll be new main story and questing in that area. As we know via the main character's mechanics, we have 2 elemental regions that allow the main character to change between wind and earth elements. It's only logical that in the future we'll have 5 other elements to swap between at some point, and therefore 5 other regions of play. This new Japanese style region must include a new elemental style, and of course that seems to have been confirmed as Electro via the interview Jewel Shockers did recently with the dev team. They were told that each story arc will focus on one of the 7 regions ruled by each of the 7 Archons. In that list, we saw what should be coming next, which is Inazuma as we know, and also it being an Electro element, but all following regions, their names, and what elements they're going to have. Also included in this article was an image of 5 characters likely coming to the game in the future at an unknown time. One of them was obviously and clearly Dainsleaf again, which the other 4, one being a duo, are still unnamed and unknown still. Obviously, they have big plans for the future releases of the game and how it's going to work, which is wonderful. But we don't know if these characters are going to come in this next update. As mentioned, we've also seen from the translated patch notes that the Gacha is receiving an update that would make a lot of people happy. The leaks suggest an overhaul to the current system. Instead of displaying rates, you'll be guaranteed a new bonding fate item after a certain amount of rolls, and higher quality weapons more consistently too, outside of your normal character rolls. So here's how it would work. Rolling 10 times would guarantee you a 4-star bonding fate and a 4-star weapon. Then you'd still have your normal chance to roll higher quality pulls on those other 8 rolls like normal. Then rolling 50 times will guarantee you a 5-star bonding fate and a 5-star weapon. This is incredible. It's like twice as many guaranteed drops, and you'll have access to the new bonding fate items. Bonding fates can be used to buy specific characters of equal value, so a 4-star bonding fate would allow you to buy a 4-star character of your choice. You wouldn't need to RNG pray that you get the character you want, you could just choose. These allegedly could only be used on banner characters, which do expire after that banner ends, obviously, but this is crazy. you can choose characters with this new currency that you get after a certain amount of rolls, and your return rate is much better with this new mercy system of 50 rolls for a 5-star bonding fate. Instead of rolling 90 times and hoping I get Diluc, I could just choose to get him after 50 rolls. I'ma be real with you, this would be incredible and make us very happy, right? But I would be shocked if they actually put this in the game. It means that it's easier to get the characters you want in a more consistent manner. This is a lot better for the players, but you would assume this would make them less money from people like whales who just put a lot of money in the gacha. Perhaps it doesn't matter to them, and they know that it's really hard to get a specific character you want right now, and if this is the case, and they're actually going to add this, awesome, I'm all for it. I'm just skeptical. Currently, Genshin is quite a restrictive game in multiplayer though, preventing you from doing most things in the game while you're in multiplayer mode. Via the leak, we see new word on new puzzle side quest types, and specifically 8-player challenges, almost like a raiding setup. This would be wonderful. The game feels way too restricted when in multiplayer, though it is certainly fun to play with others and use this elemental system. You're just locked out of a lot of activities. This is something they really need to address, and the leak suggests that there'll be new content designed for multiplayer, which is great news. Hopefully they also address current stuff too, just to give us more options when playing with others in smaller groups. So, the question: when is this update? When is it coming? Thanks to Damone Kim, who has spread a lot of this information, we have an idea of when it might be, and it's quite soon. He noted that we have a limited time to claim the free intertwined fates and primogens that they've dropped on us. Firstly, we need to collect the entwined fates by reaching adventure rank 7 before version 1.1 goes live. Then, he noted that the limited time we have to claim the primogems needs to be claimed before midnight of October 12th. If we think about that date, that's less than 2 weeks away, and I think that makes complete sense, hinting at the time limit for the original patch of the game, and then releasing the next region and all that new content for adventure rank 30 and above after we've had some time to get to that level. There you have it anyway. All the leaks I'm aware of, and anything I could find to connect those dots. I actually think that most of what we looked at today is real and coming, and it all makes sense. I even think that it will happen on October 12th. The only thing I'm really questioning is that gacha update. It seems just too good to be true, dude. What do you think? Are we going to see 1.1 on October 12th? If there's anything you've heard about that I haven't mentioned in this video, then drop it in the comments. Otherwise, do drop a like if this video was useful to you. That way, I know that I should make more like this in the future. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and I'll see you next time.